good afternoon or evening at the time of this recording, or even morning, whenever you may be watching this. But I am calling all populists, your host of a new channel called Reasonable Populism. And I am making this video as my first video inadvertently with the changes that have happened in the political spectrum this week. I decided to go ahead and make a video early, make it to where it was pretty much unscripted, unready, whatever. But because of the Supreme Court circumstances and the changes in the political spectrum this week, I felt that I needed to jump on here and make this video. This video is going to be about the Supreme Court seat that is now available due to the unfortunate death of the Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and the possibility of a nominee running through the Senate with of Donald Trump. So he is now confirmed, as of right now on the 24th, he is confirmed within the last couple days, over the weekend, that it is going to be one of 5 women, and that the 2 favorites, one of them being Coney Barrett, and she is the reason why I'm making this video. She was my favorite back when it was between when Kavanaugh got his seat. She was my favorite, but now she certainly is not, and it's mainly because of a ruling that she did not write, but she attached her name to, in the sense of it was written by one of the other judges. It was a decision that was made in Illinois, and it is a lockdown decision. And I'm going to cover that, cover her decision in this case, and a case that's also happening in Pennsylvania, as to why I believe that she is the wrong choice. And I have listened to Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Ben Shapiro. I will admit that I have not listened to any of their September 23rd, so that maybe they have gotten to touch on this in the last 24 hours. But I have yet to hear anyone except for lawyers discuss this case on Coney Barrett. Vera Fry, Barnes, I can't remember his first name. They do videos together. Uncivil Law, I saw a video had on this. And there's another lawyer, I can't think of his name. I'll probably put it in the post, or post it in the description below. But all these lawyers are covered this case and how Coney Barrett went, in which direction she went towards lockdowns in this case. And only lawyers have been discussing this. I don't know if Trump knows it. Surely you gotta be thinking that if he was aware of her decision in this case, there would be no way he would be considering her. So I don't know if Trump knows it or cares. I hope he does. I don't know if any of the main conservative big shots, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Ben Shapiro, but I've heard it on none of those networks, none of those programs. So let's get right into it. Bring up, let's see here. And, whoops, wrong one. One of these days I'm going to find the right one. There it is. All right. I should have had that ready already. But like I said, unplanned video, unplanned circumstances. All right. Court rejects Illinois' GOP challenge for governor's lockdown. 2 Trump appointees joined in a ruling, and both of those, one of those Trump appointees was Coney Barrett. So let's go up here to find. Right here. Wood is the non-Trump appointee, and he wrote the 22-page opinion. And that 22-page opinion was joined by Amy Barrett. So what was in that writing? We're going to jump down. The argument could possibly be made that the GOP in this case did not argue the case properly, and maybe there was their legal arguments that failed. But I'll get into why I don't care about that argument at the moment. Just want to let you know that I heard my family come in the door. They don't know I'm recording. So if I had to mute this and break off for a moment, again, this was completely unplanned. I just think the importance of getting this out there. I went ahead and jumped on here to make this video. If I do have to do that, I want to apologize. So, all right. So this is the Republicans making the argument, the GOP in Illinois. And I do want to get to this point on page 20, but there's another place here. If I don't find it, I'll cover that part. And I am not. Okay, here we go. We conclude with some final thoughts. The entire premise of the Republican suit is that if the exemption from the 50-person cap on gatherings for free exercise activities were found to be unconstitutional, or if it were to be struck down based upon the allegedly ideological driven enforcement strategy, they would then be free to gather in whatever numbers they wished. But when disparate treatment of two groups occurs, the state is free to erase that discrepancy in any way that it wishes. The only constraint on its power to choose is that the two sexes must be treated equally. In other words, the state is free to equalize up or equalize down if there was a problem with religious exercise. So we affirm this district court's order denying the preliminary injunctive relief to the appellates. That's the end. Okay. All that really was just saying that they're denying it, saying that the 50-person cap on gatherings, they're allowed to keep the GOP and the Republicans from having their gatherings, but still other religious organizations can still have theirs, because apparently the governor was allowing some religious groups and some necessary businesses and such groups to have theirs. What I think is interesting is up here on 20, one of the arguments the Republicans made was that they were allowing Black Lives Matter protests. Before concluding, we must also comment on the Republicans' alternative argument that the governor is allowing Black Lives Matter protests to gather in groups of far more than 50, but he is not allowing Republicans to do so. They concede that their argument depends on practice and not the text of the execution of the order. The text contains no such exemption, whether for Black Lives Matter, Americans for Trump, or Save the Planet, or anyone else. Should the government begin picking and choosing among these groups, then we would have little trouble saying that the Reed would come into play, and he would either have to impose a 50% on all of them or none of them. The fact that the governor expressed sympathy for people who are protesting police violence after the death of George Floyd, and others even participated in one of the protests, does not change the text of the order. I completely agree. However, he's obviously picking favorites. It may not be in the text of the order, but he's obviously picking and choosing his battles and picking and choosing who he wants this to apply to and who he doesn't. My whole point in this is, and I'm no lawyer, you wanted the lawyer opinions, go see the ones that I'm going to link down in the description, hopefully, because they'll explain the more legal aspect of it. The way I look at this is there were 3 judges, 2 appointed by Trump. Whether or not she thought that Justice Ginsburg was going to pass away or not, she knows she's on the thin list for the Supreme Court in the future. She could have opposed this decision, been a dissenting opinion, not joined this decision, let the other 2 stand, and the decision would have stayed the same. 2 versus 1, it wouldn't have mattered. But she went ahead and jumped on it. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal aspects of what happened here. Maybe they argued their argument wrong. Maybe they were argued a different way. Would have been more persuasive. I don't know all that. But she is supporting in this ruling when she had the opportunity for the ruling to still stand and not to do it and still dissent. She is she is saying the government has the power to do X, Y, and Z during the lockdown. Now, I don't know how much time I have in this video being a new channel. I think sometimes they limit you to 15 minutes, and I've only got about 5 minutes left to go. But this is the ruling that many people, and it may or may not be. Let me see. I can't search this, can I? I don't know if this Jacobson ruling is in this ruling or not, but this is the ruling that many people are saying. Many judges or many cases are arguing that the government has these emergency powers in order to do lockdowns. Okay, but thankfully we have a conservative, no nonsense judge in Pennsylvania who let's see, who accurately is reporting or actually used the Jacobson, Massachusetts ruling. He actually goes through it and knocks it down and says why there's been different reasons why it's no longer the law of the land. Right now it says right here, for now I'll flag the portion of Judge Stickman's decision on Pennsylvania lockdown. He accurately stated the place Jacobson occupies in our constitutional canon. He said Jacobson was decided over a century ago, and since that time there have been substantial development of federal constitutional law in the area of civil liberties. And as a general matter, this development has seen jurisdictional shift, whereby the courts have given greater deference to considerations of individual liberties as weighed against the exercise of state police powers. Okay, so in this ruling, where is it here? COVID-19 lockdown, and I don't think this is the right one. Where is it here? So it's the only two I have up. But there was a case in Pennsylvania where I hear someone come up the steps. Sorry about that. As I said, my family did not know I was on this recording. They came on, and finally they figured out where I was. All right. So, in Pennsylvania, Judge Stickman heard a case for the federal courts about the lockdown in Pennsylvania. And I thought I brought up the webpage that had, but I'm not seeing it here, that had the actual ruling. If I scroll down more. Nope. But in short, he has ruled the lockdown unconstitutional in Pennsylvania. It's even gone so far now as to have, okay, why are all these things here? There we go. Judge denies Wolf, governor of Pennsylvania, request to stay of order invalidating Pennsylvania's coronavirus mitigation measures. So they are now deemed unconstitutional in Pennsylvania. This judge completely eviscerates properly the Jacobson versus Massachusetts ruling, saying that over the years it has been as a general matter, this development has been a jurisprudence shift whereby the federal courts have given greater deference and consideration of individual liberties as weighed against the exercise of police powers. So basically, over time, the courts have pecked away at this Jacobson ruling, and it's no longer the law of the land like it was in 1905 because the courts have, over the years, pecked away at its power. So, when there was an opportunity for Barrett to rule against the lockdown, she didn't. And when she didn't, the judge in Pennsylvania ruled against the lockdown, and he's even kept the stay from happening. And I'm going to stop this recording and do a second one just in case. YouTube has a limit for me being so new.